everybody, it's Amanda with Love and Soap Studio. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make multicolored bath bombs. So here's some examples of multicolored bath bombs. I'm going to show you a real easy way to do it using a meatballer. Okay, so we're going to make something like this today. So I've already measured out all of my dry ingredients. I have my baking soda, citric acid, and then I have some hardeners in it. I'm using kaolin clay and cream of tartar, and I've also added some sea salt. So the cream of tartar and the kaolin clay help to make a really hard bath bomb. So to this, I'm going to add my liquid ingredients. I'm adding some polysorbate 80. That will help the oils and the fragrance disperse in the tub. And I just drizzle the liquid ingredients on. So I'm using essential oil. You can use essential oil or fragrance oil, whatever you want to use. All right. So again, this has my dry ingredients, it has my oil, polysorbate 80, and my essential oil. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up, and I just use a hand mixer. When you're doing bigger batches of bath fizzies or bath bombs, you can certainly use a stand mixer. I just don't have one, so a hand mixer works really well. Now it does powder up a little bit, so if you wanted to, you could just put a towel over it and that will catch all the powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix it until it's pretty well blended. Okay, if there's any clumps, you can kind of break them up with your fingers, and I'll do that in the next step. All right, we're going to do a two-colored bath bomb because we're going to do the nice swirled design. And so simply divide your mixture into two containers, and you can eyeball it. If you want to be real precise, you could weigh it on the scale. I just simply eyeball it. And we are using Mad Mica's bath bomb colorant, so they're lakes. Okay, do a little bit of the red. Now, I don't really measure these, I just kind of eyeball it. So you can certainly use a little measuring scoop if you wanted to. Just going to add a little bit. And then when you're working with lakes, close them up because I have tumbled some over and they are just impossible to clean up. Okay, and then go ahead and mix again to add the color. Now, if you want a darker color than what you see, you can certainly add more color and then mix some more. So completely up to you. All right, so now it's time to bring our mixture to the right consistency. And to do that in a small batch like this, I just have alcohol in a spray bottle, and I'm gonna simply spray it while mixing. So as far as how many sprays you'll need, it really depends on your additives, your ingredients, the moisture in the air, lots of different things. So I found that with this kind of fine mist spray bottle and this recipe, this batch, it usually takes about 10 to 20 sprays. So we'll start with 10 and then we'll test the mixture, and then if we need to add more, we'll add more. And I just mix with my hands. If you're manufacturing to sell, you definitely want to wear some gloves. If you have a nice manicure, you definitely want to wear some gloves because the citric acid can scratch your nail polish. Okay, so once we get it nice and mixed up, we can test it. And to test it, you take a handful, you squeeze it really hard and see if it stays together. And I just put a little pressure on it, and if it crumbles really easily, then I add a little more mixture. So it's actually almost there. So did you see how that broke? That means it's not quite ready. So let's do 10 more sprays, mix it really good. I like mixing with my hand because it just seems like it mixes so much easier. But you can also mix with a whisk or you can mix with your blender. Completely up to you. All right, that's better actually. When I touch it, it doesn't fall apart as easily as it did just a minute ago. If I push it hard, of course it'll fall apart, but we're not going to be pushing it really hard. I'm going to do a couple more. Mix it up really good, and then I think we're going to call this one done. And we're going to do the exact same thing for the pink. All right, that feels good. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same thing here. So I went ahead and did 15 because I know it's going to take a little more. Okay, almost. Let's do 5 more. All right, so this feels really good. As you can see, if we take some, squeeze it, it holds its shape. That fell apart, but I didn't squeeze it very hard. Let's try it again. So it doesn't really fall apart that easily. Okay, so here's how I like to do an easy multicolored bath bomb. Okay, so I take one part of the mixture and I create kind of little, I don't know what you call them, little divots where I'm gonna put the pink color, and you'll see why. So I just take the pink and put it in those divots. And you can add more, so I'm going to use my hand to push that yellow over, put a little pink there. And the idea is when you go to scoop it, you'll get both of the colors. So it makes it super easy to scoop 2 colors. Okay, now you don't want to blend it too much or anything like that, but I think that's gonna look really nice. So let me wash my hand off real quick. All right, now your meatball scoop needs to be super dry, and I like to spray it with alcohol and then dry it again. That way it's super clean, your mix isn't gonna stick to it. And so let me show you how to scoop these. So you simply scoop a whole bunch. So it's, you know, it's super full. It's going to make it really tight. Then you grab it and push really hard. Some of it might fall out, and that's okay. Clean it off. Okay, put your fingers in the holes and push to compress it even more. Squeeze it again really hard. Compress it a little bit. Wipe it off. Okay. And then very carefully, with your thumb in one hole at the top, pushing down, pull the meatballer top up. There we go. And then flip it over. And again, push through the hole. And there it is. So just repeat that. Now, as you're doing this, if your meatballer stops working, simply spray it with alcohol, dry it off real good, and it should start working again. Oops, now that came apart, and it came apart because I didn't have enough mixture in there. Do you see how much room I have through the hole? I just simply didn't get enough. So we'll grab some more. Push really hard. There you go. Now this recipe isn't a big recipe. It makes 5 to 6 bath fizzies. But when you're just getting started and you're new to it, you definitely don't want to make a whole lot because I don't want you wasting ingredients. All right, so here's our finished bath bombs. So they started out like this, and then the more we scooped and stuff, it did mix up a little bit, but that's okay. I think they still look really pretty. So this recipe, like I said, it's really small because if you're new to making bath bombs, I don't want you to waste a lot of ingredients. So it makes 5 to 6 bath bombs. So I did 5, and then I have just a little bit left over, which I'll just put in a jar or a bag. And, you know, it's fizzing powder you can throw in the bathtub. So I hope this helps you make multicolored bath bombs using a meatballer. I think it works really well. It does take a little practice, so don't get discouraged. Try it a couple times, and I think you'll be really happy with the results. Thanks so much for watching.